Welcome to part 2 of this crochet dragon tutorial. If you haven't already watched part 1, then make sure to go do that. It will be linked in the description, but otherwise let's get straight into the video. So since we've just finished our 4 single crochet rounds, we can move on to the following round, which is 2 single crochets and an increase times by 4, and this will take us up to 16 stitches. Now for the following round, we'll do 3 single crochets and an increase times by 4, and this will take us up to 20 stitches. And then for the following round, we'll do 9 single crochets and an increase times by 2, which will take us up to 22 stitches. Okay, so for the following round, we're going to be crocheting on 2 of the legs. But first, we're going to add a bit of stuffing to the neck here. So go ahead and stuff the neck quite a bit. Not too much. We'll add more stuffing as we keep going. And now we're going to crochet on 2 of the legs. So grab 2 of your legs. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the tail and put my yarn needle on it, and I'm just going to weave this tail in because we don't need the tail since we're crocheting the leg on. So just weave the tail into the leg itself so that you can cut off the tail. And I'm just doing it with the other one as well. So we want our legs to be crocheted on towards the bottom, but on either side of the bottom. So I'm going to start by grabbing my leg, and we're going to crochet through the leg and the body at the same time. So we have 3 stitches at the top here that we can go into. So you want to go and put your hook into the first one of those stitches while your hook is still attached to the body. So your hook is through the first stitch of the leg. And then you're also going to put your hook through the next following stitch of the body at the same time. So you've got your hook through a stitch of the leg and a stitch of the body. And then we're going to single crochet through both of those. So we're single crocheting with the leg. Now we're also going to do that with the next stitch in the leg. So put your hook through the next stitch of the leg and then the next stitch of the body, and then single crochet. And then you're going to put your hook through the next stitch of the leg and the next stitch of the body and single crochet. And you've officially single crocheted on your first leg. So you can see it's sort of towards the bottom. So we want it to be towards the bottom on the side. So if your stitch marker is in a different position to mine, you may need to adjust where you are doing your single crochets to ensure that your legs have the right positioning. Because I want one leg to be here and one leg to be over here. Otherwise, your legs are not going to end up in the right spot. Now to follow that, I'm going to just do 3 single crochets into the body without the legs. So 1, 2, and 3. And now we want our other leg to be here at the bottom of the other side of the body. So we grab our other leg and we're going to put our hook through the top, one of the top stitches, and at the same time put our hook through the next stitch of the body and single crochet. Then put our hook through the next stitch of the leg and then the next stitch of the body and single crochet, and then through the final top stitch of the leg and the next stitch of the body and single crochet. So these are where your legs are positioned in comparison to the horns. So you can sort of see that as an indicator. And now we're just going to do 13 single crochets just into the body until we get back to the stitch marker. So that's that round completed, and you can see the legs are now crocheted on. Now for the following round, we're just going to do 10 single crochets and an increase times by 2, which will take us up to 24 stitches. And where you single crocheted the legs on the last round, you just keep going around as usual. And for the next round, we will do 11 single crochets and an increase times by 2. Now during the next round, we're going to be crocheting the wings on. So grab your wings, and we're just going to do the same thing as we did with the legs, and we'll just weave the tails in. So we kind of want the wings to be positioned a bit like this, and we'll be crocheting them on. So they'll be crocheted on either side. So again, you may need to make adjustments for where and how many single crochets you're doing if your stitch marker's in a different place to mine and where you're starting your round. So then we're going to do 16 single crochets. So you're going to put your hook into the last stitch of the wing right here, just like that, and then put your hook into the next stitch of the body and then single crochet. And then you're going to put your hook into the second last stitch of the wings right here, and then into the next stitch of the body and single crochet. Then you're going to single crochet 1, and then you're going to grab your next wing, and you're going to do the same thing but start with the second last stitch of the wing. So put your hook in the second last stitch and then into the next stitch of the body, single crochet, and then into the last stitch of the wing, and then the next stitch of the body and single crochet. And then you can single crochet 5 to finish off. And this is what your wings look like when they have been crocheted on. So now we're just going to single crochet around for the next 2 rounds straight. So go ahead and just single crochet all the way around just as usual. Then for the next round, you'll do 11 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, which will take us down to 24 stitches. And then for the following round, we'll do 10 single crochets and a decrease times by 2. So now we're going to crochet the other 2 legs on. So you're going to want to weave in the tails once again. So you want your legs to sort of be in the same position as they were in this round. So about here and here. So once again, you may need to make adjustments to make sure that they line up. But I'm going to start off with 2 single crochets. And then I'm going to grab my first leg and I'm going to put my hook in just like before, and then put my hook into the next stitch and single crochet. And then I'll do that 2 more times. And then I'm going to do 3 single crochets. And then I'll grab my second leg and do 3 single crochets with this leg. And then I'm going to finish off this round by doing 11 single crochets. So this is what your dragon currently looks like. Obviously it's a bit deflated. You can also flip your wings up the other way if you like. It's totally up to you. But they should be able to flip whichever way you like. And then you can always sew them down a little bit if you want them to be like more attached to the body, but I want them to be floppy, so I'm happy with this. Now I'm just going to single crochet all the way around for the following round. So I'm just going to add some stuffing to the body because we're about to start sort of doing the tail. And now for the following round, we're going to do 9 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, which will take us down to 20 stitches. Then for the next round, we'll just single crochet all the way around. And now for the following round, we'll do 8 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, which will take us down to 18 stitches. And for the following round, you'll just single crochet all the way around. Then for the next round, you'll do 7 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, which will take us down to 16 stitches. And then we're going to single crochet all the way around for the next round. I'm just going to add a little bit of stuffing once again. You'll want to continue adding stuffing as you go down the tail. Now for the next round, we're going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease times by 4, which will take us up to 12 stitches. And now we're going to single crochet for 2 rounds. And then for the next round, we'll do 4 single crochets and a decrease times by 2. Now we're going to single crochet for 2 rounds. For the following round, we'll do 3 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, which will take us down to 8 stitches. And then we'll single crochet around again. And then we'll do 2 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, which will take us down to 6 stitches. And then for the final round, you'll just single crochet around. So now we are going to sew the end shut. So make sure you've added enough stuffing. And we're just going to leave a bit of a tail for sewing the end shut. And we're going to pull to finish off. And we're going to grab our yarn needle. So we're going to sew in and out of the front loops only. So we're going to go into the first front loop. And then out of the next front loop. And then keep doing that for the remaining stitches at the end. And then we can just weave the remaining tail in. And we can cut the remaining tail off. So this is what the dragon currently looks like. We do need to do some final adjustments. So those 2 things are we need to add the ears and we need to add the sort of end of the tail, some adjustments here. So we're going to start by doing the ears. So the ears are going to go just below the horns on either side of the head. So if you have a look here, you sort of have this stitch here just below the horns on the same round, and that's where you'll do the ears on either side of the dragon's face. So you'll grab your primary color. So we're going to make a slip knot with a long tail, and then we're going to put our hook into that point right here. And we're going to slip stitch into that point. So I'm going to zoom in. And we're going to slip stitch right there. And then I'm going to chain twice. So 1 and 2. And then I'm just going to do an increase into that first chain that I made right there. So I'm just going to do 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets. And then I'm going to slip stitch back into the original point. So where we just slip stitched into, I'm just going to go back into there and slip stitch again. And that's your first ear there. So now we just want to leave a little bit of a tail because we sort of need to weave that in and pull through to finish off. And now you can see we have these 2 tails here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring these 2 tails back to the same point at the bottom of the head, and then we're going to tie them together and cut the remainders off. So I'm just going to bring this back into this stitch and then bring it down. And then I'm also going to do that with the other tail, bring it to the same point, and then I can tie these 2 tails together and just cut the remainders off and then poke the rest inside. And that's your first ear complete. So now you just need to do the exact same thing with the other side. So directly below this horn here. So once again, you're gonna slip stitch and then do 2 chains and then increase into the first chain and slip stitch back in. So go ahead and do that for your second one. And here are what your completed ears look like. So now we need to add the little bits on the tail. So you're actually going to grab your darker color yarn. And we're going to do a slip knot with a long tail again. And we're going to start by putting our hook in to the side of the dragon, right down at the very end. So I'm just going to put my hook into the round next to the end. And I'm going to slip stitch right there. And now into the next stitch along. So we're sort of going to be going in a line along here on the side. So in the next stitch along, we'll do a half double crochet, half double crochet. So I'll yarn over, go into the next stitch, and then do a half double crochet, go back into the same stitch and do a double crochet, and then go back into the same stitch and do a half double crochet. And then now into the next stitch along, we're just going to do another slip stitch. And then into the following stitch, we'll do the half double crochet, half double crochet once again. And then we'll slip stitch into the following stitch. And then once again, half double crochet, half double crochet into the next stitch. And then finally, you are just going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And then you can cut off the remainders. So cut off a bit of a tail and pull through. And then you just want to take these two tails to the same spot. So grab your needle and take them to the same position, and then you can just tie them together. Now we're going to flip the dragon around, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side of the tail. So we'll do slip stitch in the first stitch, then half double crochet, half double crochet in the second stitch, and then repeat that 3 times and do a slip stitch to finish off. But we're going to do it in starting from this bit here, and then we work down that way. So just find the round that you're meant to go into. And then once you've done that, you can once again leave a tail, then bring the 2 tails through to the same spot to finish off. And this is the completed tail. And here's the finished dragon. I really hope that you enjoyed crocheting your dragon. If you did and you would like the written pattern, then all of my 2 Cent Club members on Patreon will be receiving the written pattern for free as part of their membership, or you can go ahead and purchase it on my website or on Etsy. It will be linked in the description. Or if you'd like to support me in another way, it would be great if you could watch some of my other tutorials. I upload them regularly, so make sure to go check some of my other ones out. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!